generation, we were like fuck men.
Oh.
And now there's the fuck boys.
Women are just fucking brilliant. Like, we're just smart.
Girls like the fuck boy. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but like I got way more girls who have a connection with me magically when I became the fuck boy than when I was the nice guy.
There are a lot of women out there that need to heal as people. And, well, men too, obviously. But I think that there's a lot of women that haven't yet, and it's easy for them to look for someone who treats them how they think they deserve to be treated.
The reason that guys are fuckboys does come up from a level of insecurity.
We feel like I am special, and I am different, and I am going to be the one that changes everything. Oh my God. Why wait? Why work on something? Why try and change somebody? Why try and make somebody something they're not right now? Why wait for growth? Wait for change? Wait for whatever? When there is someone, like you said, there is literally somebody that has XYZ, every single thing on your list over there. You're just not meeting them because you're too worried about this thing. The reality of what manifestation is believing you already have it and then acting yourself as the person that has those things. Every girl around me is my competition. Yeah, if it's more about the trip than about you, then I agree.
Welcome to Unattainable. Glad to have you with us. I'm your host, Zach Evans. And first of all, thank you to all of our listeners. We have been getting some explosive growth over the last couple of weeks, so we got to thank you guys for that. Today, we have a special guest on the show. Madison, why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself to everybody. Name what you do and your star sign.
Okay, thanks, Zach. Hi, I'm Madison DeCambra. I'm kind of a jack of all trades, modeling, acting, and content creation, and I am a Sagittarius. Unless you want the big three. You want the big three?
What's the big three? Moon sign?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your sure?
All
What's
right,
your
so
moon
I've
rising?
got a Libra moon and a Leo rising and a Scorpio Venus.
Scorpios are the ones I don't get along with.
Yeah, actually same. And yet somehow that's my Venus sign.
That's your toxic trait.
That's my loving sign. Yeah.
I've only had a drink thrown on me twice in my life, and both of them were Scorpios. One of them was my fault. The other one was completely her fault. I would do the same thing over again in a heartbeat.
Oh, okay. I think you have to explain that further.
Okay, so I used to be a fuckboy. I'm like recovering fuckboy.
Oh.
Back in the day. I used to be very toxic. But I was a professional. Not like these
a professional
amateur
toxic?
Gen Z fuckboys nowadays with the TikTok.
You think it's
hair.
different?
Oh, are you kidding me? These guys ride bird scooters around.
I mean, isn't like your generation's version of that just like the two-wheel? The hoverboards?
No.
Like...
No fuckboys ride hoverboards.
Oh, really?
None. They don't exist. They don't exist.
Are you sure?
Our generation, we were like fuck men.
Oh.
And now there's the fuck boys. They just run around doing with their little fuckboy friends.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway.
So
the drink.
There's this girl that I'd been seeing, and I was always a very honest fuckboy back in the day. Like I would tell girls, "Hey, I want anything serious. You know, but they never believed me. I don't really know why." So one day she's like, "Zach, you never do anything nice for me. You never buy me flowers. You never take me on dates." I'm like, "Okay, let me do something nice for this girl." So I go to this website, this sketchy ass website, and they send flowers directly to their doorstep. So they get surprised by it the next day. And I'm about to hit checkout. And right before I hit checkout, ping, this little pop-up comes. And it's like, wait, before you check out, buy one, get one half off. So I'm like, my mom always told me never waste a discount. I'm a very fiscally responsible person. Okay. So I buy one flower, send it to the girl. Then I buy another flower, send it to this other girl I'm seeing.
Oh.
So in this case, I'm like, okay, flowers, make girls happy. I'm spreading love and joy throughout the universe. The universe is in perfect balance. I'm somewhat of a philanthropist at this point.
Right. I mean, this is purely business.
Exactly.
You're saving money.
So then I'm in the car and I just got my new BMW. And I didn't realize there's a feature where it Bluetooths your phone for the music to the car, but then it Bluetooths everything else on your phone to the car too.
Yeah, your notifications.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so it's like, boop, new message from girl number 2. And then girl number 1 is like, who the fuck is this bitch? She's like that. So I'm obviously gaslighting her, trying to make it seem like we're just friends, blah, 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 blah. Like any good fuckboy would do.
Yeah, casual. You know? Like, no big deal.
But you know, girls are like Sherlock Holmes or finding the clues.
Oh, us girls, it's just...
Okay, can you tell me if is there a website where you can like plug in my phone number to the dark web?
Okay.
And it gives you everything, information about me, mom's maiden name, all the addresses I've ever lived at?
If I told you, I would have to kill you. That's it. Like, so there's just no other.
So that's a yes.
No, actually, the truth of the matter is that women are just fucking brilliant. Like, we're just smart and we just figure shit out. Like, there was this one time I was into a guy and I wanted to know more about him. I found his Instagram, right? From his Instagram, I went to tagged photos, found a family member. From there, found Facebook. From there, found family members on Facebook. From there, like, you can find anything. And especially, like, somebody like you, for instance, where you've got your name kind of all over all the social medias. It's really not hard to find things. And we're sleuths. Like, we figure it out. You can't keep things a secret for very long, to be honest.
Interesting. Interesting. I'm going to ask you more about that in a second.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, then it's 4 a.m. and I'm dead asleep. And I wake up to just cold water splashing in my face. I'm like, what the fuck? And this girl is towering over me. And she's like, you fucked this girl. You bought her flowers, blah, 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 all this stuff. And she has my phone. And she had hacked into my phone, gone through my text, found the flowers thing, and then basically blocked me on all platforms. Oh, and then she takes her phone, snaps a picture of me in bed, DMs the other girl a picture of me half naked in my bed with water all over my face with this long ass message. And then she blocks me on all platforms, blocks my friends, leaves, never talks to me again.
I'm on her side.
But I told her we're not exclusive.
I mean, that's fine, but listen, in girl world, you don't buy a girl flowers that's just like anybody. Like, that's, I don't know, like in girl world, right? That's like a symbol of like, oh, I really care about you. I value you. You're special to me. It's like the symbolism of like the little boy on the playground picking a flower and going and giving it to his crush. His crush is going to be devastated if he goes and gives a flower to the other girl on the other side of the playground right in front of her. Like, think about it. You're like little 6-year-old and you're like, that was my boyfriend and he's over there, you know, and you just kind of expand that into adulthood where it's like, yeah, you told her. Yeah, she knew, but you're spending all this time together and then she thought you were getting her flowers. There's probably something in there that's like, I thought he really cared about me because he bought me flowers. And then to find out that like, it wasn't just her, you were giving it to someone else as well. Like, showing that level of I care about you to a different person without her even knowing about it. Like, I'm on her side. I'm sorry.
Interesting. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So I've been on both sides
Yeah.
of the spectrum. I grew up the super nice guy. My parents were religious. Be polite to everybody.
Yeah.
Don't rock the boat.
Yeah.
And then I'd be in the fuck boy. Don't give a fuck. She texts me back. Who gives a fuck? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you from experience, girls like the fuckboy. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but like I got way more girls who have a connection with me magically when I became the fuckboy than when I was the nice guy.
All right.
Okay, let me.
No, hold on.
Go.
Okay. This might be controversial. Okay. I think that there are a lot of women out there that need to heal as people, and well, men too, obviously, but I think that there's a lot of women that haven't yet, and it's easy for them to look for someone who treats them how they think they deserve to be treated. And you spend all that time, you know, being in that place, you're going to be attracted to fuckboys because how they treat you is bare minimum, which you say you're retired that, so I'm sure there's an area where you agree in that, right? Like it's bare minimum.
I'm very shy and romantic now, yeah.
Yeah, so because it's unattached, it's I don't care. It's I'm gonna just be a dude and you're just tits and ass, you know? And yeah, maybe there's friendship involved, but also it's primarily that. It's primal, it's sexual, it's that's it. I don't really care about you that much, but I'll take you to dinner because you're going to blow me later. And then I don't have to text you tomorrow because you're not that important to me. And that's just a huge, honestly, from fucking probably 16 to 26, just a huge chunk of time there where that's the majority of men. And the majority of women in that age group are unhealed and looking for people to treat them the way that they feel they deserve, which is not very high usually. Mm-hmm. So they hit a point later on where it's like, I deserve better than that. This bare minimum shit doesn't work for me anymore. And in the other end of the spectrum, the men are like, well, I can't keep being like this. I need something better that actually fulfills me, that makes me feel good, and a connection that feels real and makes me feel valued as a man. And that's when those shifts happen, you know? So I think it's easier to get women when you're in a fuckboy phase, because those kind of women that are attracted to them are, I don't want to say easy, but they don't respect themselves enough to choose better.
Interesting. So
that's my take on why fuckboys get all the women.
That's an interesting take. It's an interesting take. I do agree with you that on the guy side, the reason that guys are fuckboys does come from a level of insecurity and does come from
unattachment.
Like every fuckboy has a villain origin story.
Oh, I'm sure.
Every fuckboy, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It is the way it is. Like every fuckboy has been friend zoned, cheated on.
Yeah.
Their crush likes their friends. Their next crush likes their friends. Their next crush likes their friend. Blah blah blah. Yeah. To infinity. And at some point you have to figure out, okay, am I going to continue being this nice guy that girls say they want when I look with my eyeballs into the reality of the world, I see all the beautiful girls going for guys that are not the nice guys.
That's fair. There's also, well, first of all, beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
To some extent.
Okay. And then secondly, I don't know.
So let me ask you this, okay?
Yeah.
When girls go for fuckboys, in the back of your mind, do you kind of know that it's a fuckboy?
Oh, yeah.
But, okay, so you know, but, because my theory, because I remember when I was a fuckboy, I'm like, dude, I remember I would dress, like, even like this, like,
sure,
screams fuckboy. Okay. Like, it's like, I have a fucking chain. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I was a nice guy, I would have.
If you have a chain on, you're a fuckboy. He said it. I didn't.
I mean, kind of. And I remember thinking, like, when I would tell girls, oh, I don't want anything, and they, like, for some reason would later on think that I did want something. And I'm like, not only is it painfully obvious, like if I was looking at myself in the mirror, this guy's a fuckboy, but I'm even telling you I'm a fuckboy. I'm like, I don't want anything serious. And my theory is that there's a difference between what we're attracted to and what we want. And I think just like guys are attracted to girls who are very good looking, and maybe this girl's a bitch, this girl's entitled, this girl has a terrible personality, the reality is she will still have a line of guys waiting to date her. Yeah. And they might even not like the fact that they like her. They're like, oh, this girl's a fucking bitch. Why can't she just be nice to me? Yeah, but she's hot, so they will still date her. And I think it's the same with girls. They're attracted to the fuckboy persona, but they don't like the fuckboy persona. So there's this dichotomy of like wanting something but not wanting to want it.
I think there's a lot of women out there, and I speak for my former self included, in that we feel like I am special and I am different and I am going to be the one that changes everything. And we get told that that's a potential, right? Like not a for sure, but a potential. We're told that that's a potential for us our whole lives. I mean, you see it in fucking Beauty and the Beast. You see it in Little Mermaid. You see it in so many fairy tales. Change. You can change. He can change. She can change. It's going to be, you know, this magical, beautiful. So I think there's this thing that goes on in people's heads, because I've seen it from the other end of the perspective too, is, you know, a guy is really into a girl that just doesn't give a shit. Right. And it's, no, I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be the one that changes them, that makes all the difference in the world. And it just doesn't happen, because that's not really how it works, right? Like, you could be a really incredible person and have so much going for you and so much potential and just be really just beautiful in every sense of the word. And it won't matter to the wrong person. It just won't. Like, if that person isn't it, they're not going to care. They won't care. And I think we kind of just cling on to the idea that it will shift that, will change that. They will care by me being so awesome. And that's not rooted in reality. And
I agree. I learned my lesson from, have you ever heard of this thing called HelloFresh?
Yeah.
It's like this meal delivery service. So one time I bought, again, these discounts are fucking me over. I bought a bunch of HelloFresh. It was like, if you buy 20 of them, you get the discount. So I got like 20 meals on the first week.
Yeah.
And it comes in, and I open up the thing, and it's just ingredients. And I was like, I paid for the meal delivery service. I have to make the meal? I thought I was paying for the meal to be made for me. That was the whole point of buying it.
Oh.
And so I never understand why people buy HelloFresh, because you can buy meal delivery where it's already made. You just stick it in the microwave. It's done.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't understand personally when I'm like, why do people go for somebody, oh, I can change them, when I'm like, there's people who are already done. They already finished. Like, you already know who they are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just
But that's not even a lesson that I fucking learned until literally like a year ago, when I got my heart shattered by somebody that I waited for to change how they felt about so many things, like just so many things. And that's when I was like, oh my God, why wait? Why work on something? Why try and change somebody? Why try and make somebody something they're not right now? Why wait for growth? Wait for change? Wait for whatever, when there is someone, like you said, there is literally somebody that has XYZ, every single thing on your list over there. You're just not meeting them because you're too worried about this thing. So yeah, I totally agree with you. But unfortunately, it's just not a lesson that gets learned very easily for very many people, myself included. You get told that you have to work, like everything's work.
Yeah.
You know, got to work on everything. You don't.
Yes and no. I mean, I do agree with you probably in your particular situation. But I do think on the flip side, a lot of problem with dating in LA is people get in relationships, and then the minute something goes wrong, they just dip. Oh, there's someone easier out there.
That's true. There is a middle ground in there. That's super true. Because I've seen that too, where it's like almost like cold feet.
So what was the breaking point for you? There's a guy. What was the story behind that?
Oh, I don't want to get into that.
Too deep?
No. Yeah. I know, it's so juicy. It's a secret. No, I just like to keep my love life a little bit on the down low, just out of respect. But
All good. So 16 to 26.
Yeah.
That was your fuckboy era. Where you went for fuckboys overall. And now you've graduated onto the next.
Yeah, I'm give or take. Yeah, somewhere in that age range, I think is where I lacked just enough self-respect, you know. And then I kind of just realized some things, you know, like you have enough experiences, you meet enough people that make you feel a certain way. You really sit with it. I think 2020, when we all had to kind of like sit in ourselves, is when we really realized a lot about ourselves just as a society. Like I've known so many people and seen people be totally different human beings in the last 4 years than they ever were before. And some for the better and some for the worse, obviously. But when you really just sit and you're forced to be alone and think and heal. And I think that it provides a lot of opportunity for self-reflection and growth and understanding of what you want and being able to connect what you want to what you're actually going after, you know, and really just mending those lines between the two of what I want and what I'm putting action towards is huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2020 was an interesting year. I think a lot of people found out who they really are. Or you're living with roommates, you find out who they really are. You really find out what people's motives are. You see OnlyFans blow up. I feel like the sugar daddy scene also went from like kind of underground to like way
People
more
were
mainstream.
really talking about it. But I almost wonder if that was just TikTok, right? Like certain things that used to just be not talked about very often, suddenly you can like look up on TikTok and 5 million videos come through and people are talking about it. Like there just isn't anything secret anymore, right? Like you could find anything and people are educating somebody about it.
Yeah. What's your opinion on the sugar daddy scene? Do you have friends who have done it? Have you done it?
I think it's awesome. Like personally, I'm not a participant, but I think the whole concept of it is fucking great. Get your bag, girl. Like if that's what you want, amen. 100%. And then especially because it's not like he's unaware of what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's two consenting adults. They're enjoying the shit out of it. Have fun, have at it.
Mm-hmm.
Get your bag. Why not? I knew somebody who was like, my rent is paid for, my car is paid for. I'm like,
oh, I know.
That's incredible.
There's this girl I know. She's like the same thing. One pays her rent, one pays her car payment.
Multiple?
She has like 10 of them. She has like it's like a business.
She has that's a whole business.
She's like, she's like Iron Man. She has like all the infinity stones CFO. Of like sugar daddies. She's like the most powerful sugar baby in fucking this side of the West Mississippi.
Dang.
But we got in an argument one time and I was mad because, not because what she said, but because I didn't have a good comeback and she kind of outsmarted me and I'm smarter than her. So that really bothered me.
Oh.
But we were talking about dating and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I grew up with a very old school father. And he's very chivalry. You know, if you go on a date, pay for the girl's dinner. If you're on the sidewalk, you know, walk on the car side. So if a car comes, you know, I can stop it with one hand.
Love that.
Protect my girl with the other hand, right? So I told her, you know, I'm taking this girl to trip to Europe, right?
Oh, fun.
And she's like, okay, Zach, so are you paying or is she paying?
Was this during your fuckboy era or?
Yeah.
You took a girl to Europe in your fuckboy era?
I was a very nice fuckboy.
What
to
the
be clear.
fuck?
I was a very nice fuckboy.
Shit. Okay. Anyway, continue.
So, I mean, I still have feelings for girls, even if I'm a fuckboy. I'm just able to push them down.
Oh, I see. So it's a choice.
Yeah,
Got it.
Yeah. So, to me, if I'm taking a girl on a trip, I'm paying for everything. Like to me, it would feel weird to be like, hey, babe, here's a Venmo request for $87 for the Uber ride. Like, make sure you pay it. Like, it would feel weird. Like, I just, like, I'm a man. I fucking pay for it. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, okay, so that makes sense. But, like, if you're about to say, like, about how you would have been able to handle splitting certain things is, like, room, you could be like, hey, do you mind if we split? And then, obviously, the cab thing.
See, I would feel weird saying, even just uttering those words personally.
Okay.
I would feel like, I don't know. I would give myself the ick, you know?
Okay, sure.
So this girl, she's like, okay, Zach, so you're paying for a girl 5-star hotels and resorts and plane tickets, all this stuff. So like, Zach, you're a sugar daddy. And it bothered me because I didn't have a fucking good response to it. Because in reality, the reality is all guys pay for girls in some way. Maybe it's just a drink. But it's like, okay, if the girl says, oh, I just want to be friends, are you still going to take her out and buy her drinks? Are you still going to take her and buy her dinner? You know, it's like to some extent, everybody's paying, not necessarily directly for sex, but in the hopes that something will turn into a romantic relationship.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So she kind of like, and she said it in front of my friends. So she like kind of got me in front of my friends, which was like very embarrassing at the time. But now I see it as more intense. And it's like, if this girl would be with me without the trip, and she's already with me, and then I pay for a trip, I don't see it as like a sugar daddy situation.
Yeah.
Whereas if she's there for the trip, then it becomes a sugar daddy situation.
Yeah. Kind of. I could see that. Yeah, if it's more about the trip than about you, then yeah, I agree.
What do you think about this girl, this sugar daddy girl? She's all about manifestation too. Do you believe in manifestation?
I know you don't.
How do you know?
I've seen the clip of you specifically saying, I don't believe in
manifestation.
What do you believe in? If you don't believe in manifestation, what do you believe in?
Hard work. And getting shit done. Yeah, I'm old school like that.
But that's in relation. They're tied together. Like, okay, so the woo-woo idea of like, if you just say, and you just believe hard enough, then everything's going to happen for you. That's not true. That's not real. Like, that's, but the reality of what manifestation is believing you already have it, and then acting yourself as the person that has those things. So if you are somebody that's like, I want to be wealthy, then you're like, okay, I am wealth. I attract wealth. Wealth is coming to me. Wealthy opportunities are coming to me, right? That's affirmations. That's just like a step. The other part of it is keeping your eye open for opportunities to earn money, telling yourself you deserve those opportunities, because that part of that is just how we feel about ourselves, right? Our mentality creates our reality. We make actions based on how we feel inside. So if you're like, I don't feel like getting out of bed, I feel like shit, I hate doing things, I just want to be lazy, well, how are you ever going to get to the place where you're like, well, I'm wealthy? You're not going to, because you're just sitting there and you're like, someday it's going to happen. You have to take actionable steps towards that. And have the mentality, and those things will, it's kind of like a cause and effect, right? But you can't have the effect just out of nowhere, but you can't have without the, do you know what I'm saying? Is it making sense?
It does, but it doesn't, because I agree with you on the action side. That's why I say I believe in hard work.
Right.
Well, what I don't believe is, okay, let's say there was some like fitness study you're participating in, right? Every day they're like, okay, we're going to pay you $100. You come to the gym, you do 3 sets of 10 bench press, right? And you do the action. Let's say one person is like, I don't believe weights makes me stronger. I think it's bullshit, blah, blah, blah. But he still comes in every day because he's getting paid. He does his 3 sets of 10. And another person is like, yes, I'm picturing myself as the most amazing bodybuilder ever, XYZ. And he comes and does 3 sets of 10. As long as you're doing this, your muscles will get bigger, regardless of what you think about your muscles.
Yeah, but you're talking like physical, right? There's stuff in life that takes effort that isn't physical. It's mental. It's mental fortitude. You have to want and feel like you can do the things and get there, and it's going to happen. And there's no doubt about it, because if you don't, that motivation doesn't exist.
But then you're just describing motivation, I think.
Okay.
Which
motivation, manifestation.
Yeah.
Wrap it all up in a pretty bow. It's no different than prayer. It's I want this, I want this, I want this. And you live it and you embody it and you move toward it and you tell yourself you deserve it and you tell yourself it's real and you tell yourself it's yours no matter fucking what. This is what it's going to be. And you just drive to it. You push for it. You embody it in your way you dress, in the way you eat, in your lifestyle, in the people around you. I mean, it is, call it what you want, manifestation, motivation, getting shit done. It's all the same thing.
Maybe. I agree with you when you phrase it like that. I think that most people that I've heard talk about manifestation is me saying something like, oh, like, how's your career? How's your modeling career going? Oh, yeah, I'm manifesting some opportunities right now. And I'm like, cool, but you're also watching Netflix. So like maybe you should.
That's not really
go
like,
reach out to people. Maybe you should be networking. Maybe you should be going to as many.
I think
auditions
TikTok has given a very cute concept of what manifesting looks like. That if you just like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then you just do whatever the fuck you want, remaining to that, like it's not really manifesting. It just isn't. And if you go and you look at previous studies or books or concepts that have been around for a very long time, longer than just the last couple of TikTok years, right? That's not real manifesting. That's not real. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You know, like if I said like tomorrow I want to make $1,000 and then just do nothing, where does that come from? God doesn't just throw a couple pennies into my bank account. Like it's nothing. Like there has to be an effort.
For example, if somebody wins the lottery and he said, oh, the reason I won the lottery is because 7 is my lucky number. So I picked 7. And also, you know, I was thinking about it every day and I was asking the universe and then it gave me the lottery. You think that's bullshit? Or do you think that's real?
I don't know. I think it could easily be in that realm, right? Like maybe they're telling themselves, yeah, I'm gonna, like you said, I was manifesting. And then I went and I got the ticket and then that happened. Mm-hmm. Maybe he fucking did manifest it. What are we to say he didn't? So what? Because if he was really wishing for it, if he wasn't, first of all, manifesting it, he wouldn't have bought the ticket.
I mean, yes, but
you wouldn't have bought the ticket.
Everybody bought the ticket.
No, I don't buy lottery tickets.
But everybody that did buy the lottery ticket, I'm sure, was manifesting a win. And then nobody was like, I'm buying this so I could lose.
What if do you really think like I could sit here and be like, I manifest that I'm going to win the lottery and then never buy a lottery ticket and then I just win the lottery? Like you have to buy the ticket.
Yeah, I agree.
There's action.
Yeah.
Manifestation includes action.
But then to me, it's just not manifestation. And then it's hard work.
Okay.
What have you manifested in your life? Recently or otherwise?
A lot of amazing things. I manifested moving to LA. I manifested meeting the person who's sitting over here. I manifested many opportunities in my life, work opportunities. I mean, I went to Paris for work. And the vision board that I had in the beginning had the Eiffel Tower on it. And I had no plan to go to Paris. I had no idea I was going to go. Mm-hmm. In fact, that opportunity didn't even show itself to me until February. But what I did do was I work hard. I show up. I do good work when I am there. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind and communicative, and I work hard. And then when that hard work had started to pay off, I ended up going on a cruise to Cabo as part of an actual job. I was paid to do that. It was incredible. I had never even left the country before. And on that trip, through my hard work, was an opportunity presented for me to go to Paris. I would have never fucking thought that in June of last year I would go to Paris. I had never had a passport before. They helped me get my passport. I mean, incredible things have happened that I just sat with and was like, this is something that I really want to bring into my life. And then I go forth and I hold myself in a way that brings those opportunities to me. And then when I get those opportunities, I'm grateful and I do a good job.
What was the Paris trip? Congrats, by the way.
Thank you. It was a modeling workshop. So it's a well-known traveling photographer. He does different traveling workshops with photographers that can either be already there and join or travel from wherever they're stationed to join the workshop. And he hires models, and he and I had a good working relationship. And after working together in Cabo, we had discussed potentially going forward, doing more traveling shoots like that. And then Paris came about, and I accepted, and it was incredible. It was so cool. Yeah. I learned a little bit of French. And I went on and explored by myself primarily. And it was beautiful. It was a really cool. I mean, you said you brought someone to Europe before. I mean, maybe you've been a million times. I had never left the country until that moment. And even when I went to Cabo, it was on a cruise, so I didn't really go anywhere, you know. And it was so fucking cool. It was so cool. A little bit at a certain point was a little stressful because I think my brain short-circuited that I hadn't heard English in like a few days. And that was, and like,
French people don't like when you're speaking
no
English.
I mean, well, they're totally, you just have to start with French, right? Like, you have to be like, hey, here's an acknowledgement of your culture and of, you know, and a respect for where I am, but also I don't know that much French. Like, so you start with that, and then they're totally happy to talk to you in English. So I think it's a cultural thing. Like, they just want their language to be respected. Because I did notice if I was with any of the other American photographers that didn't start with French, that people would stink eye them. They didn't like that. But yeah, no, that was like a little bit of a shell shock at a certain point where it's like, I haven't heard English in days. And I'm like, don't really know that much French. And so it's like, oh God, I got to call somebody back home. I need to talk to someone in English for a second. And it just gave me this whole new perspective and appreciation for just people in general that come to America or anywhere, like traveling, because I'd never been able to do that before, that it's really scary, but it's so exciting. It's so cool. And it really opens your eyes to a whole new world, right? Like, there's so much out there that's not 20 minutes away from our houses. And I think too, living in LA, because I'm not from LA, I'm from Seattle, where driving an hour to go and visit someone you cared about was no big deal. And then you move to LA and people don't leave 15 minutes past where their neighborhood circumference is, you know. But there's so much in the world, and I hope I get to go to Tokyo next. That's on my bucket list.
You should definitely check out Asia and South America.
Yeah.
I like Europe. I think it's very, very classy place. It's like especially for like if you're going as a couple, it's a very good place to go.
Cool.
I do think that I learned more about just culture and how people act from Asia and from South America.
Cool.
Because Europe is still pretty similar to America, where it's both Western culture.
Yeah.
Everything's kind of the same. Yeah, people speak a different language. There's some people are less individualistic, but it's still somewhat similar to America, where Asia's like completely different.
Oh yeah, no, and it's very intimidating, because I can get basic French because I knew a little bit of Spanish, and a little bit of Spanish translates to a little bit of Italian to a little bit, you know what I mean? But I don't know how I could possibly figure out. I mean, I would be addicted to Google Translate. There would be no way for me. I have to learn like some basics, you know, but it would be a completely different kind of experience. But I have always wanted to see Tokyo and Beijing, and so I think like
you would be treated like a celebrity in China. Even I would have people come up take pictures with me just for being like a white person. But if you have the red hair too, like literally people will come up and take pictures as if like you're a celebrity.
I love that.
It's kind of fun. It's
yeah.
kind of fun, to be fair.
That sounds super fun.
So is modeling your main thing or is acting?
Acting. Modeling used to be. Modeling was a really big passion of mine. But at the same time, it was just, when I lived in Seattle, there wasn't a lot to do. And they always say, you know, especially in acting and things like that, to make your own stuff. But I just didn't. I was too anxious. I thought I didn't have good ideas. I didn't want to try. And so it was almost easier to just go do like photo shoots or still photos. And then I also, at the same time, I had a baby. I have a little girl. And so when I was living in Washington, I would take her to photo shoots with me. And it was easier for her to hang out kind of on the sidelines for an hour worth of a photo shoot than it would be for me to be on set for 6 to 10 hours. But now I've shifted a little bit and have focused a lot more on acting since I've been in LA. And I fucking love it. I love it. It's what I always wanted to do. Even when I was a little kid, I always talked about wanting to be an actor. So it's really fun. I'm in a class. I met some incredible people. I've formed a community through going to acting class, and started doing a little bit more of my own like shorts and creative projects and things like that. And it's been really fun.
Good for you. I think it's very difficult as a girl to make friends in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I think it's very difficult for anybody, but
Yeah.
The number of girls that I've seen where it's like people think you're an attractive girl, your life is just easy, you get things for free, you get more probably auditions than the girl who's not attractive, you get...
That's not true at all.
Really?
Yeah, that's not true at all.
Really?
Yep.
That surprises me.
No. I would never say anyone in my orbit is unattractive. Never, never, never. I think...
What do you mean?
Because I think everybody that I'm friends with
people?
are beautiful in their own individual way.
Oh, okay. I mean, like, everybody's a special snowflake. Okay.
Yeah. However,
but there
when
are
it comes to if
ugly
you're
people
giving
that
a
exist.
scale of
like, not in a bad way. Like,
whatever. If there's a scale, right, of attractiveness, I wouldn't say that, like, my hot friends are getting more auditions than my average looking friends. Like, I haven't seen that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like my hot friends that are actresses get way more auditions.
Really?
But maybe it's just the people I know.
Maybe.
It just could be coincidence. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
But I do think it is hard to make friends as girls because it's very difficult to know what girls are really your friends and what girls are secretly jealous behind your back.
That's true.
And will be nice to your face, but then behind your back talk shit the whole time.
Yeah.
So I think that does make it. And on the flip side, I do think a lot of girls, and you don't seem to have as much of the LA personality, but I met so...
What is that? Wait, what is the LA personality?
You know, the like typical like LA girl personality.
I feel like I know, but
Very-
I want to hear you say what it is.
Very concerned and prioritizing clout and status and money and celebrities. And let me give you an example.
I met a lot of guys like that, though.
Oh, for sure. Guys, too.
Okay.
For
so
sure.
you're just saying, like, it's just an overall LA, like, vibe type of person? Or
The thing that I don't understand about girls, I understand why guys want clout and status.
Okay.
Because if you're a guy, right, and you're down here
Mm-hmm.
and girls don't like you and they go for all these other guys and you're lonely, right?
Okay.
And then you get clout and status and then girls like you magically and then you get to have sex and sex feels good. So you get from like being lonely to getting to have sex. I understand the linear progression between that. I don't understand if you're a girl, you get clout and then you just have clout. Like that's the end of, like, you don't need clout to get guys. Guys would, like, if you're hot and you don't have any clout, guys will go for you anyway.
Do you think that that's why girls are trying to get clout, is to get guys?
No, I think they just get clout just to get clout, just to have clout, which is this invisible thing that doesn't even exist in the real world. Or why do you think girls get clout? Or are prioritizing?
It does exist in the real world. It's so tangible.
It exists in
stupid.
our minds, and that's
no, it doesn't. Well, okay, so it depends,
Okay,
right?
okay.
It depends, because clout, when utilized properly, translates directly into increased business sales and profit, and job opportunity, and relationship opportunity, and travel opportunity. Like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of the times it's not like, oh, I need clout because when I walk down the street, people are going to know who I am. Like, you could throw a fucking rock in LA and hit 12 fucking people to have 1 million on Instagram like that. Like, it's not a big deal. But it's how you utilize that, right? Like, so yeah, I want to say probably as a teenager, it's just really cool and exciting to be like, yeah, that's my Instagram. I have so many followers. But if you are thinking about it correctly and using it correctly, it's more along the lines of like, how do I build from that, right? How do I build a following so that I can build from that following?
So I mean, I agree with you from the following aspect because that can directly relate to business.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing, I guess the clout I'm talking about is the kind I see in LA, where it's more so let me give you an example. So one of my exes, right? She was like, it was her birthday. And she's like, Zach, can I have a party at the house? Like, people are always asking me to use the house for a party or whatever. I'm like, yeah, sure, for sure. Like, we're still friends. It's all good. So she buys all these decorations. She decorates the whole house. She gets all this alcohol, all this food. She's like, Zach, on party full, I have 80 people coming, blah, 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 like all this stuff. And we're sitting there and it's 8 o'clock and like 2 people show up and it's 9 o'clock. A couple more people dribble in. She's like getting nervous. She's like waiting. It's like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. A total of probably like 8 people showed up.
Right.
I had leftovers in my fridge for weeks. I didn't have to go grocery shopping or anything. And to one extent, I feel sorry for her because it's her birthday. Nobody showed up. But the other extent is I have seen this girl, and I told her this later because I had to give her some tough love. I'm like, I've seen you be at a party with your friends having actual fun. And then you get a text that says, oh, there's this party and Chris Brown's at it or Lil Wayne's at it or whatever. And she can't get her friends in because her friends aren't that. I know you say everybody's beautiful, but not everybody agrees with you. So she can get in, but a lot of her friends can't get in. And she would leave her actual friends to go to these parties, which, by the way, I know you say, oh, it's a business reason, but I'm like, you're not even in the music industry. Why do you care if Chris Brown is going to do nothing for your career? Like, Chris Brown is going to try to sleep with you and then discard you like every other girl. And then you can tell people you slept with Chris Brown. It's going to do nothing, right?
Yeah.
And so when I see most people trying to get clout and just me reading people, it really does seem like they're trying to get the clout so everybody knows, oh, you got invited to that party.
Yeah.
Oh, you're high status enough to be at Chris Brown's house or this celebrity or this TikToker or whatever.
You have to think about it, though. These are things that have existed for a long time, since way before social media clout, right? Like, just in our own neighborhoods, we wanted to be the hot shot. Everybody wants to be that. The exclusive, the tip top, oh, wow, I got to do this and you wish you could. Like, we have always been that way. I mean, why was Gatsby the way Gatsby was? You know what I mean? Like, it's lavish. We want to draw the attention. We're cool. We're hot.
But that was
whatever.
My point.
That's always been the case.
Gatsby did it for girls. He had that one girl, whatever the fuck her name was, and he was like, I'm going to throw this huge party so this girl will like me.
Yeah.
That's why guys do. We're trying to get laid. Not me, I'm very shy and romantic, but for all the other guys out there.
Right.
But I don't know why girls want it. Like, what are you doing with the clout?
Well, you don't think
the clout in your brain? And
you don't think the clout is fun? You don't get benefits that aren't just girls. Nothing. You can't think of a single thing besides
maybe
the goal of having sex.
I mean, maybe it is kind of fun to flex on people, I suppose.
I'm special. We grow up being like, we're special. I'm special. Everyone look at me. I'm so special. Don't you know? Like, I'm a shining star, blah, blah, blah. The more clout you have, the more that like gratifies that feeling, right? Like, I'm cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. And I'm sure 9 out of 10 times for a girl, that's what it is. It's
I agree
to have
with you,
sex.
actually.
It's literally, look at me, I'm cool, everyone's jealous. Not to mention the fucking catty like ladder system with girls of like stepping all over each other because like I have to, like, a girl's girl is like a new concept. Like, we didn't really have that before.
A girl's girl? Mm-hmm. What do you mean?
A girl that's like pro girls. A girl that's like not out for men, not out for like trying to be the cool girl, trying to be the girl that goes with the flow. A girl that is, I care about other women. I am not throwing anybody under the bus. I am not stepping on anybody's fucking head to get to the top. I am not going to steal somebody's man. I am not going to, the girl that really genuinely is not afraid of girls, not intimidated by girls, but just genuinely loves and values other women and lifts them up and speaks highly of them. That is a girl's girl. And I think we're seeing more of that. I don't want to say like Barbie movie, but Barbie movie comes as a result of the girl's girl becoming more popular. It's starting to become more common for a woman to be that way. And I think that's really freaking cool. But I think that we still have a long way to go on that because we grow up young competing with each other for boys' attention, for teachers' attention, for mom and dad's attention, for whatever, you know, like, and we have to have this feeling of, you know, I have to work to be looked at and cared about and whatever. So every girl around me is my competition. But I think a lot of the time, I don't want to say every woman, because there are a lot of middle-aged women that are not girls, I'll tell you that. But I think it's becoming more common now that we're looking around and we're like, no, community is a really big deal. Having each other's backs is a really big deal, and we need it. And valuing relationships with men over friendships with women is a thing of the past. And that's not for everybody, obviously, but for a girl's girl, it is. And that doesn't necessarily mean too that you don't want to be with men, or you can be a girl's girl and still date fuckboys. Like, you know, it could go hand in hand, unfortunately, but just how other women treat other women, I think is really shifting and changing. But I do agree with you, because it was really hard for me to create female friendships in LA. To this day, though, I still have that experience where I put together an event that I'm excited about, or my birthday party, for instance, this last year. And I've come to realize that I think that's just LA. It is just LA. It was not about, because I invite, you know, 30 girls and 4 guys, and 1 girl and all 4 guys are going to show up.
Yeah. The guys always show.
Right.
Yeah,
they're always going to show up. I don't know what that is. But.
Well, I think it's 2 things. I think.
Well, I mean, I think I know what it is, but
guys are typically more logical creatures. So we are like, okay, this is the time of the party. Let me put it on my calendar. Blah 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 blah. We have like shit organized in our brains. Do you not agree?
No.
Really?
No. No. Silly.
I find many more guys that are more logical than girls, typically, if I had to put percentages on it.
What are your percentages?
Maybe 80-20.
What?
That's what I find in my life. I don't know.
I'd say most of my girlfriends are like meticulous, on the nose, like logic brain. There's a handful of my girlfriends, especially like the actors, the more creative ones, that they're up in the clouds, which I love them. But no, a lot of my female friends are very logical brain, like
almost every girl I've dated
scheduled
is like always showing up late, like doesn't have a job, like kind of just like some girls are like, there's a lot of girls I know in LA that I'm like, where do you live? And they're just kind of like sleeping on this friend's couch, and then they start dating a guy, they like move in with him. Whoa. And then they like go over here. I'm sure it happens to guys too. Maybe I just notice it more because I date women, obviously.
I think it's just LA. It's fucked here. It's
maybe
fucked here. We can't afford rent. We can't afford our fucking places to live. We have people. I had a friend that it was a 2-bedroom apartment, and it was probably the size of, I want to say their whole living room and their kitchen is the size of this room. And then there were 2 very small bedrooms off the side. There were 3 of them living there. And it was 1 person in this bedroom, 1 person in this bedroom, and a fucking, what's it called? A bunk bed in the living room. And that was just so they could barely scrape by to hit rent. And they didn't live in a fancy area either. I think they were in Koreatown, K-Town. That's crazy to me.
That is crazy.
People don't need to live in your living room. That's not where people live. The couch is not a living situation. But for so many people here, it's living room, car, or nowhere else. You know, because it's fucked here. It's so expensive.
It is, but I also disagree with that, because I think most of the people that are doing this are pursuing acting, modeling, music.
Okay. Which
is fine. Go live your dream. But if you're not going to say, hey, I'm going to work from 9 to 5, then like, of course you're not going to have a nice place.
So my ex was a chef, and people that worked alongside him in the kitchen, several of them had been living in their cars. They were working 40 hours a week.
Really?
Yes. At a nice restaurant too in Manhattan Beach. One of them, he lived in his car. He ended up staying on my ex's couch. There was another situation in which somebody, like their parent was paying their rent. And that was how she had a place to live. Her parent was paying for it, which I see that a lot in LA especially. But yeah, it's not just the entertainment industry. It's expensive to live here. I do on occasion get a wonderment in my head of, if you're not here for a creative industry, why are you? Because it's hard to live here.
It's expensive.
It's so hard. It's expensive.
Because all my shit is online.
The healthcare is horrible.
I could just, move to
the
Philippines.
Politics are horrible. The fucking environment is horrible. I take a daily Claritin every day. I've been taking one for 2 years now because I literally cannot breathe this air without Claritin. I can't. It's terrible. I go home to Washington. I don't have any issues. The air is clean. I can drink out of the faucet. Like, if you're not an artist and struggling to be in one of the major industries here, why are you here? But at the same time, it's also a wonderful place to be. It's so cool. The mountains are right there. The desert's over there. The fucking beach is over there. The food, the art, the music. It's incredible to be here. And so, like, you live on this, like, balance beam, right? Of, like, it's amazing to be in LA. And we're so fortunate to be here. And also, holy shit, how does anyone survive? How does anyone survive here? It's so fucking expensive and toxic and difficult. So I think that circles back a little bit to what you were saying about girls having a hard time being friends with girls, and or people not showing up to parties, is that we live in this grind culture, this gig culture. Everybody has multiple jobs. Everyone is working and working and working. And maybe not the girls that are living on the couch that go to the parties that are whatever. But for the majority of the people that I have known and met in LA whose daddy or sugar daddy don't pay their rent and their bills, they're tired. They're so tired. And so they really count their blessings on which days they end up with free time to be able to go do a party, you know? Or maybe it's a 45-minute drive and they're like, I don't have time for this. I have to work in 7 hours and I'm just not gonna, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many factors. And so what I started just having to do for things like my birthday or events is to have a realistic expectation that there will probably not be very many people that show up. And so I need to plan something that I'm going to enjoy doing regardless of who shows up. So I do something that is going to be really fucking fun if it's just me. And then whoever shows up is a bonus.
Yeah, no, I just invite 3x the amount of people and I know, okay, yeah, probably like 1/3 of these people are going to flake, maybe even half. Yeah. All right, it is what it is. You just over-invite.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, we're about out of time. Any shout-outs or things you'd like to promote, Instagram, anything like that?
Yeah, so follow me on Instagram. It's at Madison DeCambra. But also really quick, on a serious note, I am about to be releasing my own podcast called The Left Behind. It's an exploration of grief with people who have lost loved ones by their own hand. I don't want to use the word. I know it can sometimes get taken out with the algorithm. But it's a really exciting and beautiful exploration, and I'm really looking forward to it. So it'll be called The Left Behind, and it'll be posted on my Instagram.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.